The Prime Minister has put billions of dollars on the table to get the states to build 1.2 million homes by the end of the decade. National Cabinet also agreed to work on ways to help renters, but it's done little to win over the Greens.
Faced with a housing crisis, the Prime Minister gets out his chequebook, giving states $3 billion reasons to build more homes.
Upfront money to get housing moving quickly.
National Cabinet agreed to renovate the existing housing accord. The original target starting next year was to build 1 million homes over 5 years. That's now been boosted to 1.2 million homes. States who step up will share in what the Prime Minister called a $3 billion bonus. That amounts to around $15,000 on offer per extra home constructed.
This is borrowed unashamedly from some of the Hawke government reforms where you had incentive payments.
Another $500 million will be put into a housing support program. State and local governments will share in the funding to help connect essential services like sewage and water.
It needs to have outcomes. It needs to have KPIs. It can't simply be throwing cash at the states and allowing them to go on with business as usual.
National Cabinet agreed to keep looking at ways to improve the rights of renters, promising to develop consistent rules around evictions, moving towards limiting rent increases to once a year and phasing in minimum standards.
So there's nothing new for renters' rights. What has actually come out of this?
Well, you're wrong. Different states have different jurisdictions with respect, have different rules. Not every state has any restrictions at all.
It's well short of the Greens' push for a national rental freeze.
The Labor Party just spat in the face of the nearly 8 million people in this country who rent and offered them basically nothing. And let me tell you, they can polish a turd all they like, but no renter's going to buy this.
The latest $3.5 billion for the states on housing comes on top of the $2 billion the PM announced back in June. It's a big injection and potentially a big indication that the Albanese government is not confident that the $10 billion housing fund will ever pass the Senate.
The Greens, as well as the Coalition and One Nation, who formed a coalition in the Senate, need to get on board.
Well, look, the bill still is due to come back on October 16th, and I've lost count of the number of times the government have said that's it, and then pressure has got them to shift again.
Anthony Albanese revealed this was likely the last National Cabinet meeting before the Indigenous Voice to Parliament referendum is held.
I acknowledge and thank everyone here for the fact that every state premier and chief minister is supporting a yes vote.
The leaders will next meet in November to discuss health reforms. Trudy McIntosh, Sky News, Canberra.